Hey everyone, it's Mullah Police today with my video on Haunted Hills, so let's get started. To begin with, there's a few areas around Haunted that are just as viable as Haunted if you are a solo, because you can you can land at this castle up top, you can land at these two houses, or you can land in the main Haunted itself. If you're landing in the main Haunted, then there's two main routes you can do. The first being landing inside this castle over here. The reason you want to land inside the building rather than up top is because it would take you time to break through the roof, and if someone else lands on a gun they can just shoot you, so it's just not that advisable. After this you can come through here, check the loots. Landing at this castle is good because it has the most loot out of any singular building, and you can also transition that into a good positional advantage over anyone else who lands in the main haunted area itself. So once you have this tower set up, you can pretty much look at all of Haunted. Since it's not very efficient for people to farm, they're going to have to be running through the open or on the back side. So you can pretty much just cover the area, and then the only thing to watch out for is people who land castles, so just make sure that when you're gliding in, you're checking to make sure that you'll be safe. The other spot in Haunted you can land is inside this broken cathedral. This is pretty decent because it has a couple chest spawns, and then there's the floors underneath, and you can transition this to quicker maps than anyone else would get in Haunted, and then just keep searching chests, floor loot, chest over there, and then just play this by the outskirts so that you can pretty much just make sure that since no one will be shooting you from in that direction, then you'll be pretty safe if you can just walk along these outskirts. Especially since you can keep a general eye on castle as well as people who might rotate from the houses over there. If you're doing a duo split that doesn't involve sending both people to the Haunted Hills itself, then I highly recommend coming over here. The alternative areas for your duo to land would be up on top of the castle and then over here on this pirate outpost. But the reasoning that you want to land here is because you'll have quad launchers or quad crashers, so you'll be able to go to your teammate and then just regroup and play the game from there. If you're uncontested, I would suggest sending one person to the castle and one person to those houses, and then having you guys meet up over here to farm out your metal or your brick. Since this person doesn't have any metal, this person can farm the fences that are present over there, as well as the ones that are over here to get max eventually, which will be pretty efficient. You guys can also max out your brick just by hitting the walls. And then there's also the fact that between the three places there's about 20 chests. So it's not that bad, as well as, I believe, 3 vending machines, one here, one on top of the castle, and then one over there. For the pros of Haunted, there's the fact that you can get max metal from the chain fences, which are pretty efficient. You can get max brick from just hitting the walls, which is just decent, honestly. There's also mushroom spawns around, but they're not very frequent at Haunted, so you'll probably only be able to get like a mini or a big pot max. You have a lot of control over how you play the early game because, like I mentioned, you don't need to fight at Haunted itself. You can go to surrounding areas. So let's say there's like 3 or 4 people coming over to this area. You can assume that a couple of them will be going to junk, and then a couple of them will be going just around. So just look for what's uncontested if you don't want to be fighting in the early game. The last pro is that junk gets uncontested semi-frequently, so you can also get that into your loot route if you have the storm on your side. As for what's average is just the fact that your brick efficiency isn't too great, and there's only one baller spawn over here, and then one campfire around here as well. And then the only other form of mobility that's nearby is the 2 quads here, so if you're a solo landing in the Haunted Hills itself, and these only have 50% spawn rate, so if someone lands at these houses, then it's possible that they'll take your only form of vehicle mobility, so you'll have to make a very quick rotate if the storm decides to pull far. The playstyles that are pretty much present here are going to be AR tags for players who land in Haunted itself, since there's not really efficient mats to like engage in a fight, and if you're just rushing at them with a shotgun, then you're pretty much inting. So build fights do occur though if someone from, let's say, these houses rotates in and decides to fight you, like if they get a good starting inventory. The only thing is you have to really be careful of people who are castles, since they'll be really thirsty for third parties and just free tags in general. Overall, the spot's pretty solid, but it's not the best, so I'd give it like a 6.5 out of 10, since it has some mushrooms as well as efficient metal. And that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like and subscribe.